Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock, where it's a review of the movie Frankie in Blunderland. Frankie is a guy who is pretty much a loser. His friend Tommy has been staying with him and his wife, I think, Katie, for the past few years, and has been driving them nuts. So one day, Frankie and Tommy have a fight, and it seems like maybe Frankie finally took out Tommy for good. But it all turns out Tommy really didn't die. And he winds up kidnapping Katie, although Katie's not all that big on Frankie, to be honest with you. So Frankie comes home and sees them both gone and goes on a journey to try to find them both, even though it seems like Katie's really not all that interested in him finding her. And along the way, Frankie runs into tons and tons and tons of really weird characters, including a guy who's out alien hunting. Yeah, he runs into some really strange characters along the way, and yeah, it's one of those movies where I guess it's kind of like Bubble Boy. You know, he gets out, tries to, well, instead of traveling across country, he just travels across his little town and runs into all kinds of weird characters. But anyway, it all winds up in some sort of a shack-like place where Frankie finds Tommy and Katie, and Frankie and Tommy have one last fight, and Katie really couldn't care less, so she winds up lighting the place up on fire. And pretty much everybody Frankie met go to the shack, and they all kind of meet each other. And the guy who was alien hunting, turns out he's really an alien, and yeah. And Katie is pretty much like, who cares about all this nonsense? So as the shack goes up in flames, Katie winds up going back home. And for some reason, there's a lot of smoke where she's trying to, I guess, light up a cigarette or something like that. So, yeah. So, why did this movie suck? This is the kind of movie that you could sit there and say, boy, they had to have been on something to really make this movie. But I got a feeling that they probably weren't on anything. They probably just pretended like they were just to really mess with people. There was a lot about this movie that was not great, not funny, and kind of annoying, especially Frankie, because every once in a while you feel like you just want to smack him in the back of the head. And his fights with Tommy are so pathetic, they're not even funny. Yeah, there's also this little tiny man that Frankie can see, and he's in his birthday suit. Yeah, not exactly something that would have been a good start to the movie either, but this movie is, I don't know. If you can try to figure it out, I hope you can. It is on the Kings of Horror channel if you want to check it out. I think it's still on there. I watched this movie, and every once in a while I had to stop and just kind of collect my thoughts and go, why was I watching this movie again? And the description really gives it a feel of, okay, this is probably like something that I've never seen before. That was my first thought. This is definitely something original, and it sounds like a really strange, weird, odd movie. And then after watching it, I went, okay, I didn't like anything about that movie. A lot of the characters in it were really out there, and again, it's not great. It was also done by somebody who did that movie you can see right there across the top of it. And it was I believe her last movie that she took part in this movie, and I don't know, gang. This movie to me was just... It's not a good kind of trippy, I'll put it to you that way. But if you have seen it and you'd like to let me know in the comments below what you think about it, love to hear from you guys. But there you guys have it, a review of Frankie in Blunderland. If you like my videos, always feel free to subscribe. And if you got a horror, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, or fantasy horror movie that gave you some sort of weird headache afterwards and you're not quite sure why, send it my way and I will get on it ASAP. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching, and until next time, as always, stay strong and rock on.